Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles and SUVs, the pond, the weather. Wow, man almighty, what a beautiful morning. I mean, I'm not embellishing it. What an incredibly beautiful morning from all the rain we've had. And wow, it's April. What is today? Like April 4th? Time. But as always, good morning there. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel Ice Age TV. And I appreciate all the support, the nice comments. Love the comments. Love the interaction with those that watch my channel. I really do. That keeps me going, just so you know. It's not easy in this world. And what do we got going on today? You know, it's ongoing conversations, what I try to create content just on the whim. Just on the whim, I mean, literally. I don't have any creative content creators for me. It's all me. So if you like it, it's me. If you don't like it, it's me. And what are we going to talk about? Because it's always about taking one word, using that one word that relates to cars and trucks and motorcycles and SUVs, and then to the state of times. And so this past week, it's been the escape conversation. It's been the journey conversation. It's been the build conversation. And I thought today, what better dog to use as an example of growth? If you're on my channel and you really have watched that dog right there, Kiefer, the German Shepherd, as he has grown up in front of your eyes. He's grown. And so I thought that would be a great topic today, is the growth. The growth. Everything's grown. And usually growth means bigger. I guess you could use the word bigger, but growth. And so this is very interesting. And my fire adventures in here, which this is kind of weird on what played out here. I don't know what played out here, but I'm trying to keep the damn birds out of here. And to a degree, I am, but to a degree, I'm not. Are they growing on my nerves? They sure are. So here we are, another day. Another venture, and it's Thursday already, which is hard to believe that this week has already come to be, and you tomorrow will be excited as all get out because it'll be Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And there's my wife's jacket, which I have no idea how that got out here. It's puzzling at times. As Kiefer goes upstairs, and he's dangerous because he goes upstairs, he starts, tearing apart my office. There's a very fine line there of him going upstairs, and there's a very fine line on how I handle this because he wants to go first to dominate that girl. Go on, Ginger. Go on. Get up there. So he just loves being the guy with the marbles. He hasn't been fixed. Kid doesn't want to get him fixed. The breeder doesn't want him to get him fixed. So he's the marbles boy. Yeah, if you understand what that means. The derogatory comment, yeah, what's my wife's jacket doing on my car, right? So what's that all about, right? I get it. So let me get that off my nice Camaro. Not a big deal. It's covers on it, but anyways, so it's the growth conversations, and as always, it's me trying to be creative with my words to relate to the cars and trucks. But I think anybody here that's of my age can definitely say it's been unbelievable the growth of the car and truck industry. It's unbelievable. And what I mean by that is you go from a kid, me being, brought up in the 60s and 70s, and, I mean, if you look at what has transformed, what has come to be in the automotive world, I mean, when I was a kid, you just had select brands, select models, and we go fast forward to today. The growth of the auto industry is beyond believable. But really what's intriguing the most is to look at a car built in the 60s and 70s and compare it today and the size of that vehicle. The other day, I was driving up the road, and I noticed this probably like a 1980, I'd say it was like an 88 Chevy truck. That would be my guess. 87, 88, when it went more round body from the square body. And I was looking at a truck. It was a two-door short bed truck, and it was very challenging to see if that was a full-size truck. And if you take a Ford F-150 two-door truck, short bed, and you put it up against a brand new Ford Ranger, you would say, wow, the new Ford Ranger, which is a little bigger truck now, you would be like, that's just beyond believable. Now the Ford Ranger, in some ways, is bigger than the 1980s Ford trucks. Yeah. I mean, it's really incredible. You look at a car, you look at the previous generation Mustang to a degree, the Challenger, the Camaro, the Corvette. You can look at so many different cars and trucks, and you can see how they've grown. They've all become bigger vehicles. You can look at the motorcycles, same thing. I mean, just incredible. Everything around us has grown. And you just have to scratch your head. It's always about the green agenda. I mean, this administration has highlighted the green agenda and has pushed it and shoved it down people's throats like never seen in any administration at any time. This city administration has pushed this EV agenda to the highest level ever. And what's here for my subscribers, if you're watching my channel, you'll see that I went by Koons Baltimore Ford to evaluate the Jeep. Excuse me, drinking my coffee, which coffee gets me. Some people say, yeah, but you're not in Florida, you didn't cough much. Well, I didn't cough on camera, but I did cough, so it's not like the cough has gone totally away. It's just the way it is, I guess. So the adventure yesterday was to go by and evaluate the Jeep Trackhawk, which to no avail. That damn thing's, that's the jinx car in some ways, because it's got issues. And the Koons organization doesn't have a local Jeep dealer, so they're now having to go to Antwerpen Jeep to have work done on it, and they're in no hurry to get the damn thing done, so that thing's just lost. In fact, my sales guy said people were all over that thing when it's here on our lot. Now nobody's interested in it because it's disappeared, so it's just not there. So I don't think that thing's gonna be back that lot for a week or two, because there's a broken mirror on it, so the parts department has to order a mirror for it. Then the service department has to put it together, and it's no priority to them. I mean, it's just, yeah, whatever. It isn't a customer's car. It's a competing dealership's car, so I can't see that Trackhawk being at Koons Baltimore Ford anytime soon. So the whole point of that is, that's all on hold, whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense. But meanwhile, I got this idea. If it's just me, it's constant shuffling the deck of cards with all the cars that I have. It's a constant challenge because I have options in some ways to change out something to something else. And on the bigger side, the growth side, if you look here, I've got a lot of nice, good-sized trucks. What's interesting, one of my subscribers said, you never drive that Lightning. Well, yeah, I do. This Lightning truck has 20,000 miles on it. When I bought it, it had like 800 miles on it because I bought it used for a gentleman that worked for me that no longer works for me. But for me, yeah, I use that work. That's actually a really good work vehicle for what I do in my business when I have to go do jobs. It really is a great vehicle to work out of. But for me, I like the Ice Age. But the one gentleman, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to, by any means, to argue with any subscriber, to belittle any subscriber. I just share the conversations, that's all. And he's kind of like, yeah, but you've got an Ice Age channel, and it's kind of so, you know, in some ways, why the hell are you supporting EV vehicles? Well, for me, it's more about learning. It's not that I'm anti-electric vehicle. I'm anti-governing bodies dictating what the consumer wants. I'll always have an open mind to technology and change, and I think everybody should. But yes, I agree when it comes to individuals start telling me what I can have and can't have, and they have all the answers. Right, I agree with you. That's ridiculous. But I think it'd be shameful for any of us not to always have an open mind to evaluate what makes sense and what doesn't. And sure, the beauty is we're not being forced to hand to get rid of our ICE vehicles at this moment. But I think as time progresses, it's going to be with the wrong people in power, it's going to be more challenging. But here's the thing. So here is a Mustang Mach-E. When have you ever seen me drive this besides when I first got it a few years ago? Believe it or not, that vehicle was purchased 2 years ago. That vehicle has 3,400 miles on it. The wife has range anxiety. She won't drive it. This is a small vehicle. When I drive this vehicle, it just blows me away how small this vehicle is. And this vehicle has a very small range because it's the performance all-wheel drive vehicle that has the more powerful battery, but it has the more aggressive tires, and it's the all-wheel drive. It's the four-wheel motor, I think. I can't keep track of everything. But the whole point is, this vehicle here doesn't get used. It's a waste of money. But the problem is, the value of this car is 20 grand difference in what I owe on it because I paid premium price for it. So here's the challenge. Do I continue to just this thing sit in my driveway? Or do I get creative and do I take this vehicle and trade it for another Lightning truck? Well, Lightning truck has huge incentives on it right now that would allow me really just to switch a vehicle to vehicle, and the monthly obligation would be no different. But I would have a second actual truck vehicle, and actually, my wife would probably drive. You know why? Because the truck can go 300 miles. I'm not embellishing here. This is a 200-mile car. It's a 200-mile car. That's the reason I drive it. I go 150, 200-mile days. So, and the wife, and it's bigger. It's got a lot more room. So think it through. If I have the same monthly obligation on a Ford F-150 Lightning truck versus that, I think that would be the better way to go. Versus me having to write a big check to get rid of it, which I'm not going to do that. And does that deal go down? I don't know. I mean, for me, this is, I've been buying a lot of stuff, so it's very challenging. This is financial responsibility. Yeah, right. Yeah, look how I've grown from X amount of vehicles to even more vehicles. So for me, my sales guy's pretty funny. He said, yeah, it's incredible. And I've mentioned this on my channel. And I have no desire for any dire straits come to this country. But if we ever had a major gas shortage, do you know what's going to happen to these electric vehicles? They're going to be gobbled up like you can't believe. When you're an individual who has to go to work day in, day out, and you got to go sit at the gas station and be so lucky to get fuel, you're going to be thinking, do I have another option? I mean, sincerely. And right now, the growth of this administration, getting its hands in the wars of the world, we really are sincerely at very risky times. I think if people are foolish, if you don't realize how we are sitting in some ways on a ticking time bomb with this administration's policies and views and how they try to handle things, of really lousy leaders. We truly have really lousy leaders in office in our country. And one gentleman that made a comment between the GOP and the Democrats, and I would have to agree that between the both parties, it's shameful. Yes, between the two parties, they're shameful. So I'm not here to promote Donald Trump. I'm not here to promote Joe Biden. I'm not here to hate Joe Biden. I'm not here to hate Donald Trump. That's not my channel. My channel, let's just look at what's going on around us in this country and the powers that be and what they're letting happen and why people take positions of supporting all of this craziness is beyond believable. So for us, it would be foolish for us to argue amongst ourselves because what are you going to accomplish? Unless you have the big bucks and the lawyers and the deep pockets, you and I can argue all day long about your views and my views. They ain't going to go nowhere. So it's very, it's just, it's challenging for us to have to deal with what we witness more than ever. Only thing we can hope is that we can elect officials that seem to make more sense in our country to help it grow in the right direction. Because I think many people think that the growth of our country is going in the wrong direction. So for the Lightning pickup truck, does that deal go down? For me, that would be pretty cool. If I could switch out from the Mach-E to that, and I sincerely think my wife would drive that truck, actually. Because she's driven my truck. She drives the big vehicles. Look at she drives. And it's just a bigger vehicle, which that's really neat. Here yesterday, I called my good friend Pete that works at the Motorcycles of Dulles because I've got a screw in my big old fat tire on my breakout. And everything's covered up right now. It's just because it's the bird challenges. And I just can't stand coming out here and having to wipe down all the cars from all the big bird poop, the growth of the birds. But I think, I don't know, what's going on over here? Is there a bunch of bird poop on this thing? Oh, yeah, see here, look. Oh, no, I can't tell. I guess it's just the shine. But anyways, the So here's the deal. My Harley Davidson Breakout, it's got a big old screw in the back of the tire. So I called a few dealers. Nobody will patch it. They want you to buy a brand new tire. So I was on the page of taking my bike to Skyline Harley. They were having a sale on tires and 50% off on labor for any tire repair, or should I say buy a tire, not tire repair. So I made an appointment with them, but then I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to my good friend Chris and see what he thinks. And he's like, patch the damn thing. I'm like, how am I going to patch it? I don't feel good about those string patches. So he's like, patch it. So then I thought, you know what, I'm going to call my good friend Pete, that's a service advisor and used to run his own shop and all, and I'm going to ask him what his opinion is on the, well, I asked him, first of all, can you fix my back tire? He said, we won't do it. It's a liability problem. You can't do it. You got to put a new tire on. But my good parts guy right next to me, service guy, he's like, just patch the damn thing with the Stop and Go patch kit. It's a great tool. It's literally a patch where it inserts into the tire, and then has a tool that expands it and patches it internally, which is really cool. I saw a video. So he persuaded me to do that, and I did that. So I haven't done it, but I ordered the Stop and Go kit. So I'm going to cancel my order on the work order for Skyline Harley now, which that makes my day a little simpler, so I can drive that trailer and truck to get it there. So anyways, what's really cool is, as my channel grows, which it is, which I'm blessed, my channel is growing, and so I have people that watch it. So I told my good friend Pete about the near-death accident that I had on my motorcycle, and so I sent him the link, and then they posted it up on their big screen there at the dealership. Well, one of the service guys, he got into a tit-for-tat conversation with this guy claiming that I should have been able to stop that motorcycle had I jammed the front brakes on. So he claims when I was at 52 miles an hour, and if you watch that video, so this person is arguing back and forth. The service guy's telling the guy there's no way in heck a 1,000-pound Harley Davidson motorcycle is going to come to a complete stop at 52 miles an hour in that situation, even if the guy grabbed the front brake. So they're arguing back and forth between each other on, which I think is pretty cool, because the service guys, you know, in my view, and the Motorcycle Developers is going on the Iceman's page, like, look, man, the guy miraculously pulled himself out of an accident, and now you're telling this guy that he didn't do it right, that he should have been able to stop the bike completely. I'd love to hear the comments from others on my channel that if you think a guy that weighs 240 or 50 pounds, well, with gear, the motorcycle, you're talking over 1,000 pounds of weight on a motorcycle, and that motorcycle would have stopped an X amount of feet to a complete dead stop had I grabbed that front brake with all my might and jammed it to the hilt. When I used more of it, I know you're supposed to more use front brake, but I was on the back brake, and it was a split-second decision of how to try to get everything out of there and still keep control of the bike and maneuver the bike to be able to get out of that situation. So, wow. So anyways, that's just a whole other conversation. So back to the growth conversation. So yeah, do I get a bigger truck? We'll see how it plays out. But back to, you're looking at the cars, the trucks, the motorcycles. What's another thing that's grown is the horsepower. I mean, I can still remember, what do you think of this Ram TRX? So yesterday, I totally forgot when I went to Tennessee that I ordered WeatherTech mud flaps. I mean, I literally forgot all about that. I mean, just too much going on. I mean, you know, so those came in from WeatherTech when I was gone. And last night I got motivated to see how easy or hard this would be to put on the truck. These are the easiest set of mud flaps I've ever put on any vehicle, ever. And if you watch my little how-to video, I share with you me doing this. And I think the truck looks really good. I just really like the protection. I just prefer to have that paint, that area down there, protected from getting all beat up with these big gnarly tires. But I don't think it throws off the truck's appearance. I think it gives it a little, you know, more of a really cool appearance to it. So, and the irony is, I have a set for the Ford Raptor 37 that I never even put on. It's just another project, another day. I mean, it just doesn't end. And the little things I can be doing, all the parts and accessories for my Honda motorcycles. So look at this here. So the Oarsman Ford of Manassas, they can't get me tags because when we did the deal, they screwed up the odometer statement. So now this is an ongoing problem where they screwed up what one piece of paper said, an odometer to another piece. And I even called Tag and Title yesterday. They didn't even call me back. So what a joke. So the tags are dead. I have to get another extension of tags. What the hell? But with all these vehicles that I buy, I mean, well, you know that the variables are always going to play out to happen. And where the heck is my Whipple supercharger? Where is it? I mean, beyond believable. That's $12,000. And where is it? I don't know. It's a joke. It really is kind of getting aggravating. I don't have to call Lethal Performance like, dudes, you took my money. Did you take my money? I mean, is Jared okay? Is there anything going on down there I should know about? I mean, is this like, I mean, I don't know. You got to start kind of wondering. So anyways, the growth of the motors. I mean, good Lord. If you're the 60s, 70s guy, I mean, if you were in the muscle era back in the mid 60s, early 70s, yeah, you had some pretty cool power sitting around you. But as my age group, which more was the late 70s and the 80s of getting behind the wheel of a car, the power was pitiful. You know, they started having 100 horsepower, 150 horsepower, like the Z28, 1978 Z28. What was that thing, like 150 horsepower Camaro? Some of you probably knows it better than me, but lame, beyond lame, ridiculous. So here, the growth of the power. You know, here's a 700 horsepower truck. I mean, come on. Factory built. Wow. Here's a 3-liter, 400 plus horsepower Bronco V6 twin turbo. Here's 1,000 plus foot-pounds of torque frickin' dualies. They're sitting next to each other. I mean, oh my gosh. Beyond believable. I mean, it's just so the growth of power that we have witnessed for my age group is beyond believable. I would have never guessed back. I can still remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, how I was like, oh, I only wish I was the guy that was around when the 1970 426 Hemi Cuda came out, and I could have been one of those guys to buy one of those. Oh my gosh, wow. So when I was younger, I thought, yeah, well, those days are gone. They'll never be seen again. And the only way you get there is you have to build your own car, which that's what people did. But then fast forward so many years later to see the reveal of Tim Knuskis of Dodge in the summer of 2014 reveal a Dodge Hellcat that has 700 horsepower. Beyond believable. Beyond believable. Too good to be true. I was saying, I don't know how people keep their license. I don't know how people won't kill themselves, which sadly some people have died in these cars because of the power. Look at the Camaro, or the Chevy Z06, 650 horsepower. You know, I thought I was having some power back in 2002 when I picked up a used Z06 C5 generation, and I think that thing had, what, 405 horsepower, I think? I can't even remember the exact power, but it was like, wow, just beyond believable. And then to think about how the Camaro, naturally aspirated in 2015, non-supercharged, is a 500 horsepower car. I mean, wow. I mean, that are legal to buy. So the growth of the power is beyond believable for what us individuals have witnessed. And the fuel economy that goes with these is in so many ways befuddling, because you go back to the 60s and 70s, these cars that had that power, they were gas hogs. They didn't get any 20 miles per gallon. This thing here, the kid's is finessed this truck where should she not have been in stop and go traffic, she was at 15.9 miles per gallon. She would have been over 16 miles per gallon. Wow. I mean, is that just beyond? I mean, one thing, I mean, people will laugh at me because they'd be like, dude, you got so many different cars. Who cares about the gas mileage? Yeah, I know. I don't disagree. So then you go to now what we're witnessing is the electric vehicles where there's insane power. I've driven the Tesla Plaid. You can look up on my channel a video of me driving the Tesla Plaid. That thing is freaky, scary, insane. Yes, look it up on my channel. The Tesla Plaid test drive. I mean, the sales guys were in the car with me. They were like, whoa, you know, it's freaky scary. This Lightning truck has the extended range. That's another thing. That white truck has the extended range. It's a 23 leftover. Has a leather interior. And now the newer ones are bringing out are all cloth interior. They don't have the extended range. So they're really cutting out all the amenities to get them to be price point trucks to be less money. And as I was going to show you this morning, but I'll get that in a second. So for electric vehicles, the amount of power, the instantaneous torque of these things are insane. And they'll smoke, you know, the Ford Lightning truck in so many ways will smoke so many vehicles for a certain amount of distance. But you don't get the rumble. You don't get that noise. And that's what the growth of the exhaust. I mean, Jesus, I should say Jesus, not Jesus, but Jesus Christ. The amount of options of the music to your ears, the growth of that is beyond believable. The growth of the music industry. I mean, everything has grown. For all of us, we witnessed how the brand of motorcycles, the different models of the motorcycles, it's beyond believable of all the growth of the motorcycle industry. It's beyond believable. I was just showing you last week, I was up at the Harley dealer, on all the people taking classes to ride a motorcycle. It's a growing trend, even though, sadly, as you know, it's a dangerous trend as well. But cars are too. I mean, sadly, 30,000+ people die a year in a car, and sadly, 3,000 to 5,000 people die a year on motorcycles. Those are pretty real numbers. So, let me drink my coffee here. As you look at the Corvette under the cover, so what I did yesterday is I had my sales guy print out the sticker. If I can get it, it just doesn't end. It's never easy. It's always projects. So here you go. Here's that Ford Lightning truck, 2023. It's optioned out with the extended battery. It's optioned out pretty well. Nothing too radical. But it's an $80,000 truck. But they have incentives and rebates, so they're listing it on their website for $64,000. So now we have to say to yourself, some people would say, why wouldn't you just get rid of the black Ford Lightning truck for the white one if you just really want to get our damn electric vehicle? Well, true, but the problem is, how can I get any money for that used truck with 20,000 miles on it and a rear seat that's been eaten by my German Shepherd? That'll be $1,000 deduction at least, if not more. How can I get any money in that truck? Because you can go buy, if you find a 23 leftover, you can get it for like $60,000+. So what do you think the value of that truck is? I would have to say it's maybe a $50,000 truck. Yeah, well, would I own that truck? For what I pay for that truck? There's no way. The numbers, it would be a waste of time. I wouldn't even do it. I mean, why would I even do that? Just trade a white truck for a black truck for a white truck? No, I'm not going to do that. The Mustang Mach-E, that makes the most sense. Now, does Ford Motor Credit buy that deal? I don't know. I mean, you know, those guys have a lot of exposure to the Iceman, and I think at some point, what is going on? You know, if you go to the YouTube channel, I turn on the TV, and I show you the highlight of the day, what will be the highlight of the day? So what's your guess right now when I go to the YouTube TV? What is going to be the biggest theme of a lot of these YouTubers I talk about all the time? What is the growth? Well, the growth is repossessions. The growth is there isn't much growth in the car industry, even though my selling sales guy says they're at Coons Baltimore Ford. You know, everything's fine. He's selling cars. Everything's okay. They move a good amount of cars every month. And that's what I showed on my YouTube channel yesterday was, how does a car dealership sell 200-300 cars? How do they sell 200-300 cars if they don't have 200-300 cars? So here it is. It's over. I showed this guy yesterday. 32,000 views because the Ford industry is done. Let's look here. So, do you believe this stuff, though? Look at this here. Auto repossessions, 11 hours ago, 21,000 views.
So what do these numbers mean? Well, this means that I can sell you a $10,000 Corolla for $17,000. or I can sell you a $100,000 Porsche for $170,000. So now you guys can see why cars got so overinflated is because banks allowed everybody to charge an insane amount of money above what they're actually worth because they would finance the difference. Because at this time, the government was printing out money, there was no recourse, and all this basically spelled trouble. On top of that, one of the other scary stats is the fact that 90% of the auto loans that were made between 2020 and 2023 did not have any type of job verification. Now, this is going to come back to haunt dealers.
Okay, so there you go. So people tune into Lucky Lopez. He's a used car dealer out there like in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he has a good subscriber. He's got a good thing. But he's saying the growing trend is that the people are failing. So, you know, what's the number one message that you're hearing more than ever through, you know, just the general media is the growing trend is people are in dire straits. But is it really happening? It's very befuddling to me because I travel to Florida, to Tennessee. I live here. I drive the roads. I go to shopping centers. I'm not seeing this dire straits economy. And I'm not hearing from my friends at dealerships per se that it's just over, meaning they don't sell a car anymore. I mean, sincerely. But that's the growing trend of what seems to be just the most dominant conversation is that the growing trend of failure. Failure. Is that kind of what is being, you know, piped up, resonated in this country? But beyond the cars, what's the other growing trend that's going on around us? It's the growth of our country. If you're, once again, who hasn't witnessed all the massive building that goes around your neighborhood, your cities, for the most part, this country is growing by leaps and bounds. But yet you'll hear the naysayers say that it's all in dire straits and it's come to an end. But yet when I go to Florida and I go to Tennessee and I'm up here, all I see is housing construction, office construction, new shopping centers, new gas stations, new Dunkin' Donuts, new McDonald's. I mean, I just, once again, what is going on? Is this the way you know, talk to people by scaring them? Is that a growing trend? Is the growing trend the misinformation? Is that what's going on? I mean, is that the biggest thing that's now in front of us is we have the highest rate of just misinformation, that people want to enrich themselves by telling you things that aren't factual. I don't know. It gets deep and heavy and, you know, argumentative. So let's not focus on that. Let's focus on how the growing trend is. What I talk about all the time is this green agenda that is growing by leaps and bounds in our own countries. I'm sitting here talking to you today. How many more Tesla charging stations, how many more Electrify charging stations have been installed here since yesterday or this week? And I can guarantee you a lot. Even though when I go to these gas stations up here, like Wawa, Sheetz, and I see all these supercharger stations with Tesla, and lately, it's like I go to the gas station and there'd be like 10 or 20 cars getting gas. There's not one single vehicle at the Tesla charging station. What is that all about? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Does it mean because people are getting their own charging stations at their own home and they can just charge their car at home? They don't really need those things? I have no idea. I'm just not abreast or tuned to that. So, but once again, it's all about the green agenda's growth is right now on our doorstep. And Janet Yellen, as I talked about yesterday, she's en route to Beijing. She's en route to sit down with China officials and really, in her words, demand that China does not try to infiltrate this country with their cheap green agenda. And it's just so crazy. I mean, you just have to say to yourself, it is beyond unbelievable. For those in my age group that witnessed when Sam Walton died of Walmart, how this country under Bill Clinton started the changeover to China manufacturing like never seen in modern times, and how this government supported letting manufacturing go to China, and how the big companies saw a huge opportunity to abuse the labor laws and to abuse, in so many ways, the quality of goods that we would be buying. It all went to China. And everybody became extremely rich from using the China way. But yet now today, this sitting government wants nothing to do with China because it's going to, in so many ways, harm its green agenda goal of trying to bring stateside all the richness and success in our own stateside domestic country to prove the rest of the world and how great we are. But at the same time, the likes of China, what do you think? How many more coal plants did they build last year? How is their pollution to the world being handled? But the irony to all this is that for you and I, the growth of the expense of the government that's now footing the bill to us to create the higher growth of green agenda is being kicked to the curb on the Chinese because the Chinese could bring cheaper green agenda to us. So it wouldn't be as expensive. But for some reason, a guy named Joe Biden in the Democratic Party wants this Inflation Reduction Act to be like the savior of this country, to transform it into the cleanest country of the world by all of its government subsidies to bring business here to build electric batteries, solar panels, semiconductor chips, electric cars. The list goes on and on and on. And they want to shame China for doing a better job and giving us an opportunity, if we really want to go green, to not have to spend the amount of money. I mean, think it through. Why are we spending all this money when the Chinese already have it ready for us? Why? I mean, and here's the thing. We're already seeing that this country is not as excited about other parts of the world of all this electric vehicles. They're just not, we're not seeing it. We're not tasting it. It's challenging for this automotive industry to get the EV sales to really rock and roll. People are very hesitant. But once again, if it's all about the real green agenda, and it's all about a cleaner, better world, and it's all about helping the citizens of this country have affordable energy, then why the heck isn't China able to come to our country like they've been able to for how many years to sell us all this crapola goods, cheap-ass stuff, where it's a no-brainer? All you do is you buy it 5 times instead of buy it once. I mean, that's the running joke. You go buy an appliance 30 years ago, you bought a refrigerator that would last 30 years. Now you buy a refrigerator, you're lucky if it lasts 10 years. It's a throwaway China stuff, even the Mexico stuff. This inside my garage here, I'm not embellishing here, there's a refrigerator in my garage right here that is close to 30 years old. Yes. How many people have a 30-year on my channel? I'd love to hear, if you have a refrigerator built back in the 60s or 70s, it may still be running. Yes. In the meantime, over the years, I bought bigger refrigerators for my house. And in that transition of doing that, and what is this? What brand is this? GE. Yeah, GE. Wow. And think about the environment this refrigerator's been in. It's been in one of the worst environments in the world. It's humid as hell. It's humid as heck. In the summer months, it's cold as heck. In the winter months, it's still working. It's a ghost kaput right in front of me, right? Probably does. Like, oh, Iceman, just jinx yourself. So the growth of the refrigerators, as everybody knows, they got bigger, more sophisticated. Now they're just big computers, and they don't last. I've gone through them at my house. I can guarantee you 3 refrigerators, at least, in the last, I would say, 15 years. I've gotten about 5 to 6 years out of each one, and then something happens to it, and you're going to spend $500-600 or more to have it fixed, maybe $1,000. So what do? You go out and buy a new refrigerator. So talking about refrigerators, look at the houses. Look at what has happened to our society, where everybody has to have these McMansion houses. What's that all about? You just saw me down in Tennessee. Most of those neighborhoods are couples. A few have a few kids, and there's these McMansion houses. How is that good to the green agenda environment? I mean, sincerely. Once again, you look around, everything has grown substantially. The roads have more cars. There's more dealerships per se. There's more vehicles. We've grown and grown and grown. The population has grown. The housing industry has grown. But the houses have gotten bigger. the cars have gotten bigger. The trucks have gotten bigger. And everybody's scratching their head wondering why Mother Nature is changing. Because there's so many variables of what's going on. Look at how many more tractors are out there cutting grass. How many more yards have to be maintained. I mean, the list goes on. It's infinite. I could talk all morning long about it, but everything has grown. And it's just, yeah. And the government has grown as well, which in some ways, many people think that's a challenge. That's a problem. Because it's becoming the overreach of how many new bills and laws have been passed. But sadly, it seems like the bills and laws being passed aren't helping us to grow and feel better. It's growing to make us madder. Who's not madder at these policies? The squatters? I mean, does this make any sense to you? I mean, for me, I have never really even taken a lot of time to read about this squatter stuff, but I just kind of hear it through the YouTube channel and on X, and it's just like, wow. Wow, I mean, are you serious? I mean, a person really can just show up and move in my garage here, and I can't get the shotgun out and put it up to his head and tell him, you got one option, leave. Yeah, I'm sincere. I mean, how would you even handle that? I don't know. I don't even know how to handle that. I'd be getting my handgun out and telling this person, you got to leave. You got to leave. You may not have a foot. I mean, sincerely, is this true? Somebody reach out my channel and give me a little lesson here. But sincerely, you're telling me a person walking my property, moving my house, and I can't do anything to him? Huh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'll have a good story for that person. Yeah, that person was a violent person, and yes, he was. And so I'd take care of that. Here comes a kid coming to work, walking across. So that means the video's been pretty long, so I'm going to kind of get at that. We got to get to work, got to take care of things, and wrap it up as always. I enjoy making the YouTube videos, the morning conversations. Share the channel. Ask for a sticker, Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com, and get a sticker. Share the channel. And do the covers come off? Once I think I have the bird control under control, I think I will. Morning. So it's awful quiet up there, which that's kind of concerning. One of my YouTube guys said, hey, where's your light? I keep on forgetting to bring a light bulb out and get that light back in. So there it is. I'm going to leave it at that. I got to go to work. Plus I got a dental appointment. My tooth crown official, they got it in, so I got to go do that this morning. And I got other adventures. And does the electric lightning truck thing play out? I don't know. It isn't really whatever. I mean, I have one. It isn't like, oh boy, that doesn't play out. You never know. So as always, thanks for watching my channel. Stay tuned for more adventures. And wow, where's my Whipple Supercharger? That would be such a fun adventure, right? To see that you've been put on that Dark Horse. Wow. So anyways, God bless. Stay safe.